What's fast fashion? What's that?
That sounds fun.
We were joking. So fast fashion. Thanks, they're from Target.
I love them.
Fast fashion.
I went in Target real fast and I got it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how to style myself. This is exactly why I have a stylist.
No, well, sometimes, I mean, I could kind of help you because sometimes you're like the pastor's wife, and other times you are the football player's wife, and other times she's like a fully appropriate carpool mom. I often don't know how to put multiple things together, but I know what I like. It's normally staying away from color.
As you sit here and
She sits here and pray.
And what's it like to style twins? And like with our different styles and personalities, like you just get us.
Yeah. Very true. Thanks, guys. Mission accomplished.
What you wear and how you style your body speaks to who you are and how comfortable you are in your own skin. For me, I am not that comfortable speaking about myself, but I am comfortable following a professional's instructions.
100%. On this body positivity episode, we are talking all things shapes, sizes, style with our friend and stylist, Becca Gross.
You guys might think that it is just really easy to dress a pair of twins. Just buy two of the exact same thing. But no, you can't. We have two different styles and comforts. And lately we've been sharing all of our styles with you guys that we've worn on side by side because you were asking for it. So we thought the best treat would be to give you the secret behind our style.
To give you guys a really good introduction into who this young lady is, she has literally styled some of your favorite celebrities in the business. And that's because she's not only just gorgeous herself, but she really does know how to bring the best out of anyone. Size, color, creed, male, female. This woman has got it covered. So Becca, give us an idea. How did you get started?
I mean, talk about a little ego boost.
Right.
Thank you.
All yours.
It's a pretty simple story. The way I got started was interning. I hit the ground running, got hands-on experience very early on when I decided to quit my job and to pursue, getting in fashion. And I knew that I needed to learn, get hands-on and see the ins and outs of things. So I interned, then I assisted, then I started booking my own jobs. Juggling, assisting and booking jobs. And, as you become more familiar in the industry, pave your way, you just grow. And that's kind of, the basic backstory as to how I got my start.
Where would you say you really developed your love for fashion?
I think from an early age, I always loved storytelling in any form. And one might think, how is storytelling related to fashion? But it is. I feel like you're telling a story every single day. It can, correlate with your mood, how you're feeling, whether it's colors or fits or, trends or styles. So I've always been a creative in that sense and liking storytelling. And I felt like early on, that's sort of like the one thing you're in control of is how you're getting dressed, as a child and as a kid. So that was just a way that I expressed myself. These days you go online and it seems like everyone's a stylist, everyone's a photographer, everyone's, this or that, and which obviously isn't the case, but sometimes it can feel that way. Back then, not to say that I'm like that old, back then it really wasn't as visible and I didn't necessarily even know what a stylist did. Now, if somebody looks it up, they can see exactly, for the most part, what's entailed or get a general idea. Back then I had no idea. I knew the career existed, but I didn't know what it meant to be a stylist. So that was why, shadowing people and interning in the very beginning was super, super helpful.
Right.
No, I mean, I bring people on now that want to assist me and help me, and it is, sort of like anything in show business. Like it looks very glamorous, but it's 90% hard work, grit, sacrifice, all of these things behind closed doors.
Okay, you take on interns and assistants, and you used to be in that position. Do you see yourself like young Becca wanting to aspire to be a stylist?
Sometimes, totally. Like,
I bet.
Sometimes, not all the time, like.
I worked hard, I don't look like you.
No, it's true.
No, right? Sometimes, and it's like, but like when you find a diamond in the rough and you can tell someone has so much potential, I've definitely had situations like that. I've had people who had zero experience come and work for me and they were better than people with a ton of experience, just because they had the passion, they had the drive, they were reliable, all of those things that are really important in any industry. But yeah, sometimes I see myself, and like those are the people, I sort of take them on as my own little projects, and I hope to foster them.
How do you go about getting new clients, of course, without leaving Malika and I? How do you interview them, or not interview them, but just how do you go, okay, this is a new person and a new celebrity, or they're in a new lane of business? Like, what are the questions you ask? How do you get to know them? How do you know how to pull for them?
At this stage in my career, luckily, most of my new clients are word of mouth, usually.
Okay.
Someone you know, a personal recommendation. So at that point, I sort of already know a little bit of a backstory, oftentimes, a little bit of, who they are, what their needs are, whatever.
You do your research.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
that means you do your research.
My research and kind of see like, hey, like, do we align on, multiple different areas? For me, really and truly these days, I'm a married mom of 2.
Yeah.
We talk about juggling it all.
Yeah.
And so that really does for me now kind of like shape and mold what type of projects I take on, what type of clients I take on. Energy is huge for me. Yeah. And I've been so blessed that really and truly, like, I haven't had a crazy experience. A lot of people in my industry have experience with talent that's maybe not that nice or just really extremely challenging to work with. I really haven't had that experience, and like, I think that maybe is an energy thing, or people recommending we're kind of keeping this like energy in this circle. If I'm having a fitting with a client or I'm meeting them for the first time, the first thing I like to ask, to be honest, is what don't you like? I can look at somebody and kind of be like, okay, I think this might look good on you, or your body shape, or this or that. But I also don't know what, internally you do not like. So I don't want to show up with a rack of, jumpsuits. I'm like, ooh, you look great in a jumpsuit. And they're like, that looks like it's like, I feel like a janitor.
Not really a jumpsuit person.
Right.
Thanks.
So that's helpful. That gives me direction. A lot of times people's like personal body issues or insecurities or things that they find as struggles getting dressed, it sometimes feels maybe isolating or feels like you're the only person dealing with this. But as a stylist, I've dealt with so many people over the years that it is nice when you're able to get my perspective, because it's like, no, I know exactly what that concern is, and I know exactly what to do.
I've encountered that before.
Yeah, I've encountered that before,
alone.
and like I can help you. I hope to bring wisdom, in that sense, so that it's not so hard. Because getting dressed, it's like, it seems fun.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, because you're a celebrity stylist, most people, and I say this because I come from this place, can't afford a stylist. So what do you say to somebody that's like, oh, I'm not really comfortable wearing this. What do you do to make your body type comfortable in certain clothes?
Perfect segue. That's why I started my style hacks. That exact description of what you said was the exact reason. I have wisdom and insight that the average person does not have.
Right.
I provide a service that the average person does not, maybe can't afford.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that information doesn't belong to everybody. New moms, for instance, like when you have a baby, we all are parents, dealing with your new body after the fact.
Right.
I mean, there's moms across the world, and everyone, even though their bodies are different, the experiences and the feelings a lot of times can be the same. And getting dressed is one of the most daunting things after you have kids. I don't care if you're teeny like you or, a bigger size, like we all have that same struggle and complaint.
All right, well, I do have a question, and I'm gonna talk to you kind of like the third person, or it might sound like the fourth person because we're twins. I really wanna know from the outside perspective looking in, what's it like to style twins? Like with our different styles and personalities. Like, I really wanna know when you're like, okay, I gotta shoot with Malika and Khadijah. What do you think? And you're like, okay, let me go grab this from Malika, get this for Khadijah. You just get us.
I reference you as the twins, but you're just two very different people to me.
Yeah.
And as much as you're very connected in so many ways, you're just different. And when I fit you, I'm literally fitting two different people. We're having two different conversations about, body types or concerns. I notice, quietly what you gravitate to and what you are like, ugh, I don't like this. Like, not that you literally say that, but
I might have thought.
Yeah, she probably did.
But both of you are extremely opinionated in a good way. When people don't really have a firm opinion in terms of their style, as a stylist, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging because it's a lot of trial and error. You guys know what you like, and that makes my job a lot easier and over time,
Well,
that's
sometimes,
why.
until I don't tell you certain things. I didn't accidentally get pregnant, but I accidentally had a shoot coming up. It was actually for Side by Side too, right? Yeah. And out of all the people, it was earlier in my pregnancy, out of all the people, you tell your stylist if your body is changing.
Not if you're me, apparently.
And I completely forgot, but I did say it, I told you this. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have told Becca that I'm pregnant. And this was the night before, and I subconsciously thought about it, said it out loud to Bobby, and then didn't text you. And then got to the shoot, and Malika was looking at me like, so you didn't.
Have a whole rack of clothes to snatch the waist and make her look snatchy snatched.
I had
and
no
she's
waist.
about that. I'm actually pregnant, and we're not announcing it yet. So
It just didn't happen, and I've done that a couple of times.
with just
oops.
it's just funny when it
I gained the weight, I lost the weight, I'm pregnant now, and I would just forget. But she can make it work right in the moment. So
It's funny, but ultimately Becca has never seen a situation with us that could not be fixed. You wouldn't even know if this was pinned or not. It may or may not be. You just don't know.
Is there a clamp back there or not?
We don't really know, do we?
So let me break it down for you guys. When I go to style Khadijah specifically, in terms of what I like to highlight about her, to be honest, we said it earlier, the energy and the mood. That's what I highlight. It's not necessarily a certain body part or feature, because all of your features are insane and beautiful. But no, it's your mood and how you're feeling. And you know, we've gone through, both of us, a lot of seasons together. We're all parents and moms and pregnant and not pregnant. So that comes with ups and downs and fluctuations with just your energy and your mood and what you're feeling. So that's really what I cater to. You really are versatile. I guess now we're getting into the terms, but really and truly, it's like you tackle every single aspect of your life and they all fall within like your style. So it's like, yes, you have your mom style, which obviously most of the time, any mom with multiple kids, comfort is key. So we have that. But then like you said, then you can show out at dinner one time and you're just like this little snatched little body.
And you're like, oh, hey, Mom.
Exactly.
That's under all those sweats.
Exactly. And then sometimes you're a little bit maybe more traditional, maybe not so much skin.
I would say this, I'm not very much of a risk taker when it comes to style and fashion. I'm also not a person that shows a lot of skin. I love a little cleavage. I think that's like the woman in me, right? But it doesn't get, you know, like some people will really like throw themselves in a crop top and I'm like,
For you, I think it's more it's like an energy thing for you.
Yes, it is.
Like,
that's what it is.
It's an energy thing for you. I feel like when I pick things out for you, like you said, I inherently know, no, we're not gonna do like a whole skin moment. So the pieces obviously it's gonna narrow down a certain, you know, look.
I might give you a leg.
You might give a leg, we might do a short, and like you said, we might do some cleavage. But that's like, it's not gonna be like a skin moment. I mean, the same honestly goes for you too.
No, but it's the truth. I think ultimately we start in front of a variety of pieces, and Becca's first conversation is like, how are you feeling? And I think that's important too with a stylist. It's such a personal job. It's different too when someone's your friend, but we still all have to achieve a job together. And it does make it easier when someone's doing, you're like, oh, I saw this and I really just want to see this on someone's body. It's an attachment to them in some other way. She genuinely styles us based on what we're trying to achieve, if it's a specific episode. You just don't know. Someday I want to tailor things to the hair I'm wearing that day. You just never know. Like, and I think your flexibility and your, like you said about, and I didn't know this about you, about being a child and wanting to tell stories, but like what you're really good at is helping people tell that story that day. I feel like it's essential in your relationship with your stylist or anyone that's helping you be the better version of yourself or tell the story you want to tell, that comfort piece is there. So that's what's really dope to me.
Maybe it's like, even if you don't have a stylist, it's like, what is the story you're trying to tell about yourself?
Yeah, no, it's
like, how do you want to feel?
And that can
like,
evolve daily.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Evolves and changes. I'm vertically challenged. We're vertically challenged.
True.
That means we're shorter women. We've always been very petite packages. So I've always loved that you can put me in something, multiple outfits, and I feel like my torso is a little bit longer. I feel like my legs look, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you have ways, these little stylist hacks where she can like, I don't know how you do it, but like, I love that you do that, because if I put it on, I just look like my little frumpy self.
Some tricks of the trade for somebody who's trying to look longer. I mean, always accentuating the waist, obviously having like high waist, having longer pants, like, you know.
That helps.
That definitely helps.
Do you have to throw a heel with that though?
I mean, that'll make it look even longer, yes.
Okay.
You know,
So
I think like a wide leg, high waist pant will always make, you know, if you have like a platform or a heel, it's gonna give you like an extra couple inches.
Right.
You know, tricks of the trade that give illusions. Like a lot of what we do is illusion. Whether it's Spanx underneath your clothes to give the illusion that you're a little bit slimmer or smoother, or, you know, things like just tuck in the shirt. You can show your waist and you look skinnier or whatever.
Right.
Well, I like being short because we can be one thing that tall people could never be. Short. Becca is going to share some of her hacks that are easily accessible because she's bringing them to you guys. It's like styling for dummies. And I probably have a book for dummies on a lot of things. So if you need it, it's okay. I'm like, dummy for driving, dummy for iPhone, dummy for styling, dummy. And I'm like, but guess what? Admitting you're a dummy will eventually make you smart. What made you do it? Where is it like 1,000 people in your comments going like, well, do I have to pay you to get some information? They were all in your DMs where they, I know it. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I was someone else, I knew it. I would DM you and just go like, so are you gonna respond or do I have to like cash app you later?
Styling and style and fashion might seem kind of surface level to some people, but you know, like we were saying before, to me it's deeper level. When you step out and how you look and present yourself and how you feel, that's important. And the outside, you want it to match the inside. Like it's all connected. I wanted to help women and women who didn't necessarily have a stylist like me. As a stylist, I deal with a lot of very specific things that people have issues with when it comes to getting dressed. One of the main things that I hear from clients, friends, you know, strangers is, I can't wear this top because of the size of my chest. That's probably one of the biggest complaints that I get or that I hear. To some degree, that's not accurate. And I decided to make a style hack sort of surrounding that topic. I basically show how you can use boob lift tape to essentially lift the breast and support it like a bra, but it's in a unique shape so that you're able to wear a cowl neck or just something with a really low, like a low bodysuit. And a lot of people sort of assume, you know, these boobs won't, tape's not gonna lift up these, trust me, it will. You just have to do a couple of tries, you do a bunch of layers, and it literally gives you a boob lift. Friends that I've known like since childhood who never thought for decades that they could wear a shirt like that, they just didn't know. I think it looked intimidating. It just sort of seems like something that wouldn't be attainable, but it is. And I wanted to show in this hack how simple it really was, and two, sort of a before and after comparison of the difference that it makes.
Yeah, it's like a little booby harness.
Another one of my style hacks, which is one of my favorites, is the issue of maybe having a high waist slack or pant that's really smooth, but it has pockets, which we love, but the pockets visually just look bunchy and it creates this weird just thing. So this hack essentially shows you can actually do away with the pocket. And if you're not a tailor and you don't necessarily know how to sew, there's a lot of like iron-on methods to cut the pocket out and iron it shut, iron it back shut. So that's like one of my favorite hacks because a lot of people have that issue. They're like, I love these pants, but the pockets sort of bunch like this, and then they choose not to wear the pants. The pants maybe sit in their closet for a while. So this just sort of allows someone who maybe doesn't have the skills to sew it themselves or cut it out or even know what to do. Or maybe you just don't want to spend money to go to a tailor or send it to a tailor. You can actually do it at home.
True, you're like, I already bought the pants.
Could you do that in jeans too? Because you know if you have like the right fitted jean,
you can.
Sometimes you can still see the pocket
you
because
totally
the jean is so fitted.
You totally can. Again, a very common problem of, you know, our bodies are, you know, different shapes and sizes. A lot of times maybe you're a little bit thicker in the hips or thicker in the butt and smaller in the waist. You or I might know, you know, maybe we'll take ours to the tailor and get it done. That's not always affordable, depending on how many pieces you need to do. And two, you know, it's kind of complicated. You know, you kind of just want to buy the jeans and have them fit.
Right, it's done.
So this hack is really cool because the supplies are pretty inexpensive, and it takes a hack that is actually used in children's clothes, which is the elastic waistband.
Stop.
Yep. And it takes that concept where it has the elastic waistband and there's multiple buttons, right? And as your child is smaller or bigger, you pull it in and you use the buttons to cinch it and fit the child. So it's essentially that same hack. and you can, tighten it or loosen it as you need. And you'll see in the hack, the before and after, that my waist, it's kind of billowing right here and there's this huge gap. And then after I do the hack,
it's gone.
It's like flesh and like snatched on the waist. So my advice to anybody who, wakes up in the morning and doesn't feel their best or the most comfortable getting dressed, I think right now, luckily, we live in an era where there's so much information out there. And just because you maybe don't have a stylist like myself to come and bring you racks of clothes doesn't mean that you don't have access to the information. Like, I've seen so many amazing tutorials on how to dress different body types on YouTube. And I think, I get it. Like, I think we all have moments where getting dressed is not necessarily the most fun. And I think there's this idea that it should be. But sometimes, there's parts of our bodies or areas of concern that make it not that fun. But there's so much information out there. Just do a little bit of extra research. And I feel like you'll find tricks of the trade, ways in which you can dress to, cater to certain body types.
Right.
I think it's amazing that there are people like you out there that are basically giving up freestyle game. That's what I call it, because ultimately that's what you love. You love what you do. You're like, if I can give you one little note that'll make you feel better about when you get dressed today, I'm so happy you learned how to tie a shirt in a knot and you didn't know how to tie a shirt in a knot.
And I think a lot of times what happens is we just settle for it not fitting properly.
Right, and then we wear it,
We just walk
and then
around
we feel
with
like
the
it
jeans.
doesn't
Yeah,
look right.
Exactly.
And you're like, that's not the solution. guys.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But there is one, she just gave it to you. So what are some of your style hacks? Share them with us below.
Subscribing to our channel never goes out of style, so hit the bell and don't miss future episodes.